Hey Eurovision fans, 29 of the Eurovision 2025 artists just performed at the last big pre-party of the season in Madrid. I'm going to give you my review of all 29 performances and see how could this change what happens in Basel. So let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So in case you didn't see, I already did a big ass 1 hour review to the pre-party that happened in Amsterdam. That was all my initial thoughts of everyone. Then I did a follow-up episode for the pre-party in London where I reacted to all the new information. I'm going to do the same thing here again. I'm just going to react to whatever new information we got, because if you want to know my initial thoughts, you can go check out those two videos. So we're going to try and keep this as short as possible. Also, please keep in mind, I just released my grand final 2024 video where I do a super deep dive analysis into what happened in the jury in last year's competition and how that could affect this year. So go give that a watch if you're interested, particularly the first 20 minutes where I focus on this potential new trend we have of the jury winner winning the show. Could that happen again this year? We'll have to wait and see. Shout out to Eurovision Spain for posting all of the videos from this pre-party onto YouTube. I'm not going to show the videos because I don't want to deal with the copyright. I'm just going to put photos. They were releasing the videos one by one quite gradually, which is why this video is a little bit later, because I was waiting for all of them to be released. But they did really professional videos. These ones had like camera cuts and everything. It wasn't just one camera. They were switching between. So it's cool in a way because it gave us a little bit more insight into some of the songs where there are going to be camera cuts. So I hope it gives us a little bit better feel of what this might look like on the Eurovision stage. First of all, let's talk about the two acts that weren't there. Germany skipped this pre-party again. Tina is trying to rest her voice. She's been having problems with laryngitis. Definitely the right decision to do. She needs to be going into the rehearsals super fresh so that her vocal sounds clean. And then also Lucio Corsi as well missed this. So I don't think he went to any of the pre-parties this season, which I have to admit is a pretty typical thing for Italy. Last year, Angelina Mango was amazing. She went to so many of them. But yes, generally the Italian artists don't go to the pre-parties. I think it's a mix of the fact that they've got busy schedules, because pretty much all the time that's pretty big artists who's already got a full working job doing concerts. And then also I think it's just like potentially some of them feel like the pre-parties are a little bit below them, which in fairness is probably pretty accurate because these people are already filling out pretty large arenas. So yeah, a little bit disappointing that he didn't go. I believe he had a concert somewhere else instead. So I'm not sure why he confirmed that he would be there when there was a conflict. If you know, leave a comment down below. Okay, I'm going to review the performances in the order that they were released on the Eurovision Spain channel. So first up, let's talk about Spain, Melody. Nothing really new here. I love this red leather jacket that she was wearing at the start. And one of her dancers that helped take her off, I actually thought was J.K. Bella. I'm not sure if that is or if it's just like a kind of generic handsome Spanish man that exists. Nothing really new here. I feel like this is one of the songs that we can feel pretty confident that what we've seen on the stage is going to be what happens in Eurovision. I feel like Poland's in that category as well. Melody is performing her ass off. Anytime I see an interview or anything, she's in the background singing, she's doing promotion, she's got a lot of energy, she's putting a lot of heart into this. We've still got the flip at the end, which I love. I'd actually love a couple more tricks like that. I think that flip is absolutely wonderful. And maybe we could have something in the middle as well. Really strong performer. Overall, I think this is very close to the package that we're going to be getting in Basel. Next up is Sweden. It's Kai singing Barabado Bastu. Very professional. I was actually watching this and I was really appreciating hearing Swedish in Eurovision. It's going to be so wonderful to hear Swedish in Eurovision in the contest since Nerja Blunder, was that the last time for Finland? Nerja Blunder was 2012, but that didn't make the final. So this is the first time we'll have Swedish in the final since 1998. Unless you're one of those 3% of people who think that Sweden aren't making the final in the community poll that I did. There's so many things about this I just absolutely love. Very super professional stage. Looks like we're getting that Boreal farce on the LED. Nothing really new. I follow them on Instagram, so I see them performing this song so much. They're really working their asses off. And SVT have confirmed that if Kai win, they are intending to host. Because there's a little bit of questions like, will Sweden want to host so soon afterwards? It's not absolute confirmation, but you know, they might change their mind later. Interesting to see that Sweden are ready to go for it again, probably in Stockholm. I'll talk about that more when I do my Who's Gonna Win Eurovision video. Make sure you subscribe down below. I forgot to say that earlier. Okay, next up is Austria. JJ singing Wasted Love. Again, nothing too new here. They had a robot on the stage, which I thought was incredible. Again, they get some really, really good camera angles here, quite professionally done. His voice sounded a little bit strained, so I don't know if he was resting it or if he needs to rest it. He has been doing a lot of performances. I believe he just did a Dancing with the Stars performance as well, so he just needs to be a little bit careful that he doesn't lose his voice, because obviously that is utterly critical to this. but being a professional opera singer, I'm sure he's aware of what the steps he needs to take to make sure his voice is cared for. Still serving casual streetwear on the stage. That's absolutely fine for pre-parties. I hope that is not what we're getting on the Eurovision stage. I hope we're getting something a little bit more fun, mystical, conceptual. But yes, yeah, pre-party wise, he's not giving any information away unless that's his outfit for Eurovision, in which case the information he's giving out, I'm not in love with. Vocals were a tiny bit off. He really gets into the bit with the end where he goes into the club. He gets the audience riled up. He doesn't seem embarrassed or shy on stage, which is really great as well. So very much looking forward to his performance. Okay, next up is Malta, Mariana Conte. Starting off the song with Sasal from Denmark, Kyle Alessandro from Norway, and JJ from Austria. They seem to be like a bit of a besties club, which I really, really love to see. She seems very popular. I think she's got a really, really wonderful personality. Her and Sasal seem like the big, fun personalities that everyone loves this year. So I really hope they take advantage of this really sunny disposition that she has, because it really does add to the song and adds in an extra like loveliness to it. I'm pretty sure that this was a lip sync performance. Now I'm guessing that's because the audience were screaming "can't" and it was very, very, very audible. And Eurovision Spain decided, okay, it sounds very, very similar to the swear word, so we're gonna dub in the original version. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened, because vocally she's been very strong recently. Interesting thing here in the production was that they put all those text messages saying the song sucks, etc. They overlaid it on the screen. So I wonder, is that something that they're going to do in Eurovision? Because previously it'd been on the LEDs. I think overlaying on the screen obviously puts it much more front and center. So that could be an interesting choice if they decide to do that. And then at the end, we had Kai come onto the stage and bounce up and down with her, and they were doing the sauna dance. Very iconic. Again, this seems like someone who's very popular backstage, that people want to work with her. So I'm still hoping that the Eurovision community is going to really support her in the semifinals and send Malta into the final for the first time since 2021. Okay, next up is Albania, Škoda Elektronika. We have another new outfit for Beatrice. She has the biggest wardrobe in Albania. I kind of like this one, not my favorite. My favorite one so far is still from the music video. I did like this one as well. I'm getting really excited to see what she's wearing at Eurovision. The fact that she's got so many outfits, I think the one she's actually wearing in Basel is stored away in a safe somewhere, and it's going to be like the most wow one. So very, very excited to see what she's chosen. LED wise now, we're getting this bursting orange like flame circle, which I've seen a couple of times now. So I think that might be the LED we get in Basel, which I really like. I do hope they're still keeping some of the sandstorm dusty visuals from the music video, because I thought those were absolutely wonderful. It gave like a smoky, hazy, mysterious, doubtful atmosphere. So I really hope they incorporate that as well. Kola in this performance came out onto the stage wearing shades, delivered his verse, and then just kind of stood there. Again, looking a little bit like a bodyguard. Now, obviously in Eurovision, we can cut away, we can do some swooping camera angles. Same thing I say every episode. I just hope that they've got a final plan. Even if he just turned 90 degrees, it would have looked a little bit more purposeful, that he'd turned away from her, or if he turned towards her in a menacing way. But again, just standing still, doing nothing, it just looks a little bit too much like a security guard, really reminding me of Tommy Cash. I'm sure that they've come up with a solution for actual Eurovision. And of course, we've got different camera angles we can cut to and lighting that we can put on. We've got more options in Eurovision than we do in a pre-party. Next up, speak of the devil, was Tommy Cash. I really like Tommy Cash. It seems to be extremely unpopular this year. Many people saying he's too arrogant. This is another pre-party he's going to, so it doesn't really fit in with having a super arrogant personality if you're going to these pre-parties. He did a fun video on the Eurovision Instagram channel. Was one of my favorite I've seen so far. It really made me laugh. And he's doing pretty well in the OJE contest as well. I thought this was going to get a little bit snubbed by Eurovision fans, but he's got decent points. So far, we've had 16 countries vote, and he's got 11 points from 6 different countries. So doing better than I expected. I think this is really going to pop with casuals. I think they're going to absolutely adore this. I think that the jury is going to tank it though, so I can't see it winning, but I could definitely see this being a contender to be a surprise rival for Kai. I say surprise because I think most people are assuming Kai are just going to win the televote, but he could be closer than we expect. He had the bodyguard on stage. It seems like we are going to get some iteration of that at Eurovision. Him with the bodyguard, whether it be 1 or 4 bodyguards lifting him up. So it does look like it's going to be similar to Istilaia. Who knows? He could pull out a big surprise. That could be something that shoots him up the odds. He does have the potential to do a big surprise because he's got so many ideas, so many references that he can pull on. Okay, next up we have Zoe for Switzerland. Her stage is going to be done by Theo Adams, which I'm so excited to see because it is so different to what Theo did last year with the UK. Really, really impressive that he's picked a staging that is so different in terms of mood and theme this year. In terms of Zoe's performance, she's wearing a black dress, very demure, very mindful on stage. She stays static, and then we get into that instrumental part, she moves around. So I think this performance will probably have a lot of camera cuts on it, maybe a little bit moody lighting, definitely using tricks to add in atmosphere and build suspense. She sang very well, nothing really massively new here either. Next up is Erkka Wikman from Finland. I loved her outfit in this so much. It was giving me a little bit of 70s superhero, but it didn't look goofy. I loved it. I really, really, really liked this outfit. Kind of different from everything else we've seen, which has been a little bit more like 80s metal, black leather with studs and whatnot. So I actually kind of like to see something a little bit different. I'm curious to see what she's going to pick for actual Eurovision. But this is my favorite styling that she's had so far. Loved how she did her hair as well. I think styling like this might be a little bit more jury friendly than the leather stud look. I don't know. I feel like the jury are looking for something that's got a bit more of appeal, family friendly, etc. And I think that this was a little bit more that. Something like what outfit they choose. I think that the televote's already going to be pretty strong with this. So I do feel like maybe picking a more jury friendly outfit might help her out. But at the end of the day, she needs something that's going to make her feel confident because the song is about having boss energy on stage. She needs to feel like a boss. So whatever outfit gives her that, I think is the one to go for. But if they can choose one that's going to appeal to the jury as well, I think that could help. Okay, next up is Sistal from Denmark. I know I'm very obsessed with outfits. In fairness, the outfits are probably the biggest change from pre-party to pre-party because often they use the same LEDs and they do the same performance every single time. Another really wonderful personality like Mariana, very loving person, seems to be very popular. I like this outfit actually. It actually kind of reminded me of the leotard that she had in the national final performance, if that were related to that. Really great presence on stage. One thing I really noticed about this performance is how she's able to move around so much. She can go to the audience, she can move up and down, she can get off the ground, and the vocal just stays so smooth. So I hope the Danish delegation is taking advantage of that because there's lots of performers who, when they move around, the vocal starts getting a bit choppy, so they can't do as much movement as they would like, where she really can pull it off. She can be super dynamic, she can go up and down and off and on things. And the vocal's going to sound really clean because she's got that really powerful, strong control. So I hope that they're taking advantage of that secret weapon. Next up, let's talk about Denmark. It's Kyle Alessandro. Also using the studio version here. I'm not sure why. Potentially there was like some recording issues or whatnot because he's not saying any naughty words. He had a new outfit on, which I really, really, really liked. I'm not sure about the jewelry in the center. I get that it's kind of a reference to a lighter or a spark near his heart. But yeah, it just looked maybe a little bit too big, a bit too gaudy. But yeah, overall, I like that he was wearing a new outfit. He had two dancers with him. I don't know if they're the dancers from MGP or if they're like house dancers from Madrid Pre-Party. I would not be surprised if the Madrid Pre-Party had like this big pool of dancers that you could access, or some of the dancers in the back already knew the dance moves and were like, hey, we can join you on stage if you want. Because I don't think that NRK is going to suddenly splash out for two dancers to join him. It is really great having more people on stage. It gives the song more energy. It takes some of the pressure off of Kyle. It gives the camera something else to look at. It just gives a little bit more of a slight military drill feel because his outfit's quite militarized as well. Yeah, it just adds to the song. So I think the final performance of this is going to look really great. Kyle is doing so well considering he's only 19 years old, one of the youngest artists this year. Okay, next up is San Marino. It's Gabri Ponte. Okay, I got a couple of things to say about this one. So first of all, we have these three singers on stage who have their faces covered. They're singing the song. Then we have Gabri Ponte pretending to do the decks behind the decks. That only leaves us two performers more we can have. I think this is a little bit of a strategic error. These three guys aren't moving. I don't know if they're going to do a reveal at the end, but we've got 4 of the 6 people on stage in a party, fun football anthem song who aren't moving. Basically, they stay within like a meter. I don't know if that's the right strategy. Do we need 3 people on stage? I don't know, maybe that's something they can't backtrack on, but I feel like one person would be enough, and then Gabri, and then have 4 dancers or 4 performers, because this just needs like full party energy like in the music video. By the way, I have filmed my reaction to the music video. I'll do that at some point, but these analysis videos are a little bit more important. But yeah, I don't know if that's a clever strategy. I think we need as many people as we can jumping, screaming, flipping, doing everything. Just really bringing the fun and energy and giving this a wonderful, happy party feel. And 4 men trapped on stage is just not giving me that vibe at all. So, that could just be what's happening in the pre-parties. I feel like one singer and then Gabri and then 4 performers is going to be a little bit better strategy. But let's wait and see what San Marino have in Basel. Okay, next up, it's Czechia Adonis singing Kiss Kiss Goodbye. Another fabulous performance. I loved his styling. He had kind of like a ballroom, felt like a homage to Spain. We got some really intense, trippy, like red lighting, which I thought looked really, really wonderful. Very, very exciting, although at sometimes it was like maybe a tiny bit too busy. Made me think of Ali last year, where he also had this like trippy red lighting part, which I think was actually a bit too busy and kind of distracted the viewer. But I think if they find the right balance, this could look super cool because it was slightly disorientating, slightly psychedelic and retro. He's been doing really well in the odds. Since I released my last odds video where he was 9th, he moved up to 6th, which was kind of rude after I just released the video, whoever placed that big bet on him. And now he's moved back down to 7th again. But really exciting that Czechia are in the top 7 of the odds, our highest ranked country who've never won Eurovision before. I still think it's a bit of a big dark horse, but it's not impossible that Czechia win. But there are obviously significantly more likely contenders right now. I'm still super excited to see what's going to happen in the last 30 seconds of this. In the music video, it was really incredible. What are they doing on stage? That could be a key hinging moment in whether this can be a big contender for the top 5 or not, how they use that 30 seconds. Let's talk about the UK. Remember Monday, what the hell just happened? Absolute professionals. These ladies are so good. Every single performance I see, loved the outfits that they had and that were kind of cohesive. They had a cohesive look, although they each had their own personalized, individualized outfit as well. They just did in A Little Bit More, which is a series on Eurovision Channel's YouTube, where all the artists do like an extra performance. They did a cover of Husavik on a boat. Really incredible. These girls are just going all in. Halian's vocals were a little bit off, but she might have been sick or something. The other two were perfect as always. I think Holly probably just was maybe a little bit under the weather or something. I'm sure it's all going to be perfect when we get to Eurovision. Think this could be a big surprise with the jury. Still have no idea how it could do in the televoting. Might absolutely flop. But I think that this is going to pick up some good jury points because they're very compelling on stage. Very, very solid. This feels like the Germany from last year's strategy, which got Germany 12th. I still think 12th is potentially on the board for the UK. This is so different. In that grand final 2024 video I just showed, if you are in the top 3 of a juror's list, a single juror's, there's a 97% chance you're going to get points. They need to go all in on the Broadway theater feel, hope that there's some theater kids in the jury, which there's going to be, and then they'll just get some big points because they'll just be super unique in that category. Okay, next up is Belgium, Red Sebastian. This one's growing on me a little bit. I'm still not there in the same way that a lot of the fans are. Although this has 0 points in the OJE, which I was very surprised about considering I thought it was quite a large fan favorite. Picked a long time ago though. I do think like that lack of novelty could be affecting people's Eurovision fans' perception a tiny bit. I liked his outfit more. It was a little bit more fitted. He's been going for a lot of baggy clothes recently, which I think are swallowing up a little bit. This was a little bit more fitted. I think it looked better on him. They're obviously going to be going for red lighting, which I think looks really cool. I think it does make it look different from everybody else, and it's going to give it a total vibe. And his vocals are feeling a little bit more confident, a little bit stronger. So yeah, I felt better about this coming out of watching this performance. Next up is Luxembourg. It's Laura Thorne, La Poupée Monte-le-Sang. Why can I never say that properly? I actually quite liked her styling. It really reminded me of the film Labyrinth. Shout out to that 80s movie with David Bowie. Yeah, with Jennifer Connelly. What was her name? Sarah. Her name was, how could I forget her name? Her name was Sarah Williams. That is such a great film. Really, really good music. David Bowie, classic. A little bit of a tangent. This performance definitely is a costume reveal. I think that fits in with the kind of nostalgia, camp, old school Eurovision feel. They have a wonderful costume reveal that's like, they should be looking at Drag Race. We have incredible costume reveals on Drag Race. Steal something, like just go to Luxembourg Drag Race, steal one of the outfits, get inspired. I think that it would totally fit in with this song. So I hope they're doing that. I thought she had good characterization on stage this time, giving a little bit of, she was giving a bit of spunk. I think it really worked with the song. I'm feeling a little bit more confident about this now. Still think the LEDs need to be a lot better, but yes, I was more there. And also her ad-libs at the end, she was like 90% perfect. There were a couple that were a little bit off, but these ad-libs I think are really, really crucial. It ends the song in a really, really cool way. So she needs to hit those 100%. So again, resting vocals, very important. Next up, let's go to Emmy for Ireland. Nothing really new here. Again, these very jerky LEDs, which I'll try and put a video up of here, just seem odd to me. They look too AI generated. I feel like having a real person do it would look better. Nothing really new here. We didn't have the dancers. I think people like this song. I'm just not seeing a lot of love for it. I don't think it's on people's radars. Again, 0 points in OJE so far after 16 countries voting. Yeah, I'm worried about this. I think people like it. There are a couple of people who hate it because they don't like the concept of singing about dead dogs. But I think just as a song, this is in too many people's middle of the pack that they aren't going to vote for. And that's a little bit of a concern. I think we need to be going like really big in Basel. Really super big. I don't think that the LEDs are high quality enough personally. So I'm still worried for Emmy. I'm not getting any less worried. Okay, next up is Vibe singing Roa. I think they had new outfits. They had Vibe written on, they looked really cool. Still not in sync with the choreography. They gotta nail that down. You know, there are things in Eurovision that you can control, like your choreography, how you perform, etc., etc. And there are things that are out of your control, your running order, other countries that might overlap with you. You gotta nail down the things that you can control, and having the choreography still be off again at the bridge going into the final course. They've got to keep rehearsing this and get it super in sync. If they're not getting it in sync, give them separate choreography, like one moving up and one moving down, so that it can't be out of sync because they're doing different stuff. But yeah, otherwise, they're really good at getting the crowd going. They were doing a little bit of interaction with the crowd, which I think is great for a pre-party. I hope they don't do that Eurovision. I don't think it really works when the person starts singing to the crowd, and etc., etc. I just don't think that works on TV. I think you need to have your focus on the audience at home. That's where your votes are coming from. Next up is Tautomaitas from Latvia. They had those beautiful lights, fairy lights again. This looks stunning. There were so many gorgeous tableaus here. Really clever use of lighting. And again, this kind of like psychedelic vibe that I also got with Adonis. And it made this very otherworldly. It gave me that super psychedelic, just the lighting was so intense and crazy. It transported me away. So I hope that they're keeping that. Love the thing with the lights. I think they've got some good ideas here. This feels like such a wild card. It is so different from everyone else. There's no one who's even good. The only person I think is kind of close is Albania, because they've also got that little bit of an ethnic, very earthy, raw feel, but like that's in a different semi-final. Tautomaitas I think is super unique. This still feels super 50-50 to me. Are people going to get it? Definitely stands out. Really stands out. It's so different from everyone else. Okay, next up is Montenegro. I'm still super worried for Nina Zizic. This opening 20 seconds, how are they going to manage it? I don't know if they're going to manage it well. I'm just worried that it's going to kind of potentially end the song before it's even started. Plus, even when we get into the song, it takes a little bit long to boil as well. I don't know. This is possible, but they need really clever staging. I think we're just going to have her on the stage on her own. They're using the same visuals that they used in the music video. I think that's what we're getting. I'm worried. I'm super worried for Montenegro. I don't think this strategy will work. I think they need something a bit more dangerous or exhilarating. Maybe watch some more Bond movies, get some ideas from that. Okay, next up is Armenia. It's Parg. This was a little bit of a grower for me as well. I feel like he's leaning into the like rock vibe. He had like a kind of rock outfit on. He took his top off halfway through the show. He's giving like real badass, hyper energetic performance. I think that's good because it does kind of make him feel a little bit different. He almost feels like the only rock performer. Now, of course, Lithuania are the only rock song in semi-final, well, pretty much in the whole contest this year. But I think leaning into that rock aesthetic is a really good strategy for Armenia. Keep in mind they've got a really good qualification record, so I still feel like this is borderline. I don't think the song is super strong, but some of the strategies that they might be using, I hope this stand out. So this was one that kind of grew my estimations a little bit. Next up is Poland, Justina. This was a much shortened video. I'm not sure why. Maybe there were copyright problems. Nothing new here. Same performance. She had a little bit less of the bench press movement this time, which I approve of. I think they should reduce that for her. Get the dancer to do it, but get her to do something different. Otherwise, this was pretty much the same. Next up is Milkshake Man from Australia, Gojo. He also took his top off. So, the thing is, he's coming before Parg. So if both of them decide to take their top off in Eurovision, Gojo gets to do it first. It's his idea, and Parg is copying him, even though that's not officially what's happening. That's what people at home might perceive. He's obviously got a great body. You can tell that he does a lot of training. I feel like this outfit is the one we're getting at Eurovision because he's been wearing this a lot now. This kind of red and white stripes. I think it's a great outfit. I think it looks really cool on him. It gives the characterization. So I have no problems if that's what he goes for. And yeah, is he going to take his top off or not? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if that's going to help or decrease his chances. I wonder what people will think about that. Will they find it a little bit arrogant? That goes for Parg as well. It could also backfire with him. Next up is Marko Bosniak for Croatia. This is also a song that's kind of been growing on me lately since I did my review. Not mad on this outfit. It was giving me a little bit of Amelie goes to the Moulin Rouge. But yes, I don't think this is the final outfit that we're going to get. Very magnetic on stage, very committed, good vocals, really, really rooting for Marko. But like I said in that review video, he needs some big ass dangerous staging to get through, which is not impossible. He's got a wonderful running order. Next up is Napa for Portugal. Now, at the start, they started showing some photos. It's like, okay, cool. This is the storytelling that we need. The photos kind of looked more like hobbies. It was like hiking and like dogs and whatnot. I don't know if it was fully getting across like homesickness and wanting to be back at home in places. It wasn't conveying the message fully for me. And then the photos just stopped and we just got this still image of a bridge. So look, I'm still just like not getting the amount of storytelling and meaning that I need, that I think this needs to pop. So still super worried for Portugal, but they're on that 4 qualification streak. Their delegation knows how to stage songs like this. Hopefully the actual performance in Basel is just going to be very different. Next up is Ukraine. Zifferblatt. Germans, am I saying it right? Is it Zifferblatt with the TS sound? They let them use the female vocal on the backing track this time. In the last pre-party in London, the guitarist had to do it and it didn't sound great. So that was nice. They had the backing track this time. Daniil is getting really good on stage. I feel more confident from him in a national final performance. He had his eyes closed a lot. He's making more connections with the audience. He had this very cool conceptual outfit on, which looked a little bit avant-garde. And then he took off this like white, almost like feather boa trail at the end. So I think we could be getting some really cool fashion from him in Eurovision. I prefer that outfit over his Vidbeer outfit. Very solid performance. This is going to be very beautiful. We know that Ukraine always elevate their staging, so this should be wow when we see it. Okay, next up is Mariam from Georgia. Really, really beautiful red dress, very solid vocals. No new information other than that. She had the same LEDs that she had, I think, in Amsterdam. I wonder, should they bring dancers onto the stage? Should they just bring on like 5 dancers? Like, effort, just give it a try. I think her on stage on her own, giving like a Shirley Bassey style belting performance, I just don't think it's going to work in semi-final 2. It might have worked in semi-final number 1, but not in 2. No new information that makes me think that this can go through. We already knew her vocals were solid. So next up is Serbia Prince. Outfit-wise, wear the suit, which he took off into something sleeveless in beige. Nothing else really new here. He is very strong on stage. He's very committed to this show. Okay, next up is Katarsis Tavo Akis. Really like some of the lighting here where we're going into a silhouette. I wonder, could they mix between going in and out of silhouette? So silhouette into some light and then have the lights coming on and off. That could be a really, really cool mood setting, because I did get a lot of atmosphere when we just have the light shining on the top of their head. But then if we have that for the whole performance, we won't build any connection. So alternating between the two could be a good strategy for them. LEDs were the same. I really like these LEDs already. Most of this performance, there was nothing really, really new. I really like that new lighting concept that we haven't seen before. And finally, we have Slovenia. Now, this performance isn't up on the channel. I went searching for it a little bit. I couldn't find it, but I believe that it's probably going to be very, very, very similar. He had a video up on his channel of him going to the pre-party and meeting with people backstage. Seems like he's got a pretty big personality and people seem to like him quite a lot. There was a video of him interacting with Tommy Cash and getting an autograph for his children. So yes, I think that his big personality and his confidence on stage could be one of Slovenia's big weapons. Okay, that's what I thought about all 29 of the countries who performed in the Madrid pre-party. What did you think? Who was your big surprise? Who did you have a better feeling about after watching their performance? Leave me a comment section down below. Don't forget to go check out that grand final video that I just posted. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and buy me coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a QR code here and a link in the description. And of course, thank you to all my wonderful patrons who are patronizing me from all around the world. On my Patreon, you can get loads of fun Eurovision stuff. Go check it out if you're a fan. But of course, thank you so much just for being here. I've seen another Eurovision analysis video very, 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 very soon. Goodbye.